Lecture 6, Part 1. Yeah, I was
I
going to
do have one other kind of offshoot thing for our, because we were working on papers and in my studies, I found fiber optics.
Oh, did you?
Fiber optics.
Fiber optics for
Well,
what kind of?
you know how you go out to somebody's garden and you see how they got
Oh.
those little garden lights in there?
Yeah.
Well, those are supposed to be like 21%, the LEDs in those.
Mhm.
If they're LEDs, they're supposed to be like 21% cheaper than
Just your standard bulbs.
just your, any other bulb.
Any other LED or any
Any other
other?
LED or any other application, so it's 21% cheaper than, say, hooking that bulb to the grid.
Mm-hmm.
And using any other bulb
Yeah.
than the LED, that's 21% cheaper than using the standard way.
Yeah.
But they're talking about using these fiber optic lights.
Yeah.
Which they really don't emit that much light. But for lighting your gardens up, you know, how people like that in the night, it's lighting the path up so they can.
Sure.
see at night.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm thinking those fiber optic cables, and there wasn't a study done, but to use those fiber optic with the PV
Yeah.
combination, to use the fiber optic cables with fossil fuel generation,
Yeah.
it's like 19% cheaper than anything else.
I guess I'd like to see that paper. I've tried a little bit of.
I got this site.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I've
There's
tried.
a lot of calculations on there, and I was
Okay.
hoping that maybe you look at it.
Yeah, let's look at it for sure. I have tried a little bit of fiber optic myself, and my application was I was just building this concrete countertop and wanted to have some lighting from below. So it was it's called fiber optic. It's just like pieces of extruded acrylic, and the light hits one side. It's transparent, so it'll sort of shoot through. Is that what you're talking about? I mean,
Well, I
or
don't-
how long a light path are we talking here?
See, they haven't really done a study on it. I didn't really get too deep into the study,
Yeah.
but the fiber optic cables for the outdoor lighting and the PV panel, I think it would just boost everything.
Because
From my understanding, they were hooking it to fossil fuel generation.
Yeah, because I wouldn't think the fiber optic cable is a transmitter. I mean, it's just transmitting light. It's not generating light from electricity. But no, it wouldn't carry a current. It just carries the photons. I mean, the photons themselves flow down the fiber optic. But I could also see if you did sort of a efficacy study to say how much light am I getting per joule. How many lumens per joule. That might work out. Okay, so
I did that study. I looked into those with all the other bulbs.
yeah,
You're getting.
are you taking notes?
With the 15
Okay, good.
watt LED, you're getting probably you're getting the same, almost the same lumens as a 100 watt incandescent.
Gotcha. Yeah. That's the thing to look at. Good.
And so it'd be the fluorescent, I think it's a fluorescent tubes next in line, so you're getting probably with the 18 watt bulb fluorescent, you're getting about the same lumens as the 100 watt incandescent. Problem with that is you got mercury and phosphorus in it, so.
Yeah, there's no perfect technology. Oh, look, there's 3 attempts. Oh, nice. Okay, so McCann weighed in too. Do you want to just go over yours? I'm sure there's things in there that are correct that just
Yeah.
Moodle didn't.
Well, one thing on my practicum test,
Yeah.
I had to take it twice,
Okay.
because I didn't check the boxes, check as I went down.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought if I check the boxes when I went down, I would just submit my answer, and
Yeah.
then go back and redo them.
Yeah.
But I couldn't,
Really?
yeah.
I think I only allowed. So do you need a second attempt on the practical exam, or? It's like, I can't remember if I.
No, I don't need a second. I
You already did the
didn't
second.
grade.
Okay.
I just need, there's some things on there that I wrote down that was, I can't get information that I don't have.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was pretty lenient on that. I think there were a few questions I just gave everybody credit.
Nonetheless, a big loss. It's gonna be
I've got a outlet up front here if you want to plug into it, Adam. Okay. Yeah, speaking of which, I'm gonna jack into the grid myself. Do a little matrix action up here. Okay, so, which of the following was responsible for the majority of estimated direct costs of oil dependence to the U.S.? So this is Lovins.
Page 3, the bottom paragraph. Price shocks alone have cut the GDP growth rate by about half a percentage point. Wouldn't GDP and wealth transfer kind of be the same thing?
Well, I'm looking at figure 1.1-2, and there are three things that are listed there. So there's
Oh, shit.
majority of estimated direct. So I just read right. I mean, I'll look at what you're saying here to see if there's an inconsistency. But figure 1-2 says estimated direct costs of oil dependence to the U.S. And so there's
Majority.
the majority, yeah. And what were you seeing though, Gary?
It's on the page right before that, the last paragraph. I was reading in the text, I wasn't looking at the graphs.
Price shocks alone.
If you read even through that whole page, it's just GDP, or down at the bottom.
I've cut the GDP.
More than a year's worth of GDP.
I think I kind of looked at that graph and wanted the answer from
I hate graphs.
there. Yeah, sometimes you-
Graphs are supposed to make it easier, man. It's
They don't make
supposed
it easier.
supposed to save you some reading.
I know what you mean, sometimes they just make you more confused. Some 11 graphs are pretty wacky.
Yeah, that's all I took it from. I was trying to make it as,
But still, it makes sense because the wealth transfer to the OPEC countries is unheard of. You pay to go over there and beat them up and then pay to buy it.
yeah, I know. It's a lose-lose. Okay, so that's one. And then 2, it says, which type of curve best describes the peak fossil fuel production? So here's the deal on that one. Let me just show you like the Gaussian versus the parabolic. Oh my gosh, what's going on with my hair today? Glad this isn't the Missoula College of Beauty Arts or whatever it's called. So here's a parabola, and obviously this parabola is just like a y equals x squared, and it's concave up. Now if I flip that around, here's one down here. If I flip that around and do y equals negative x squared, that's what this guy is. It's really hard to see. There's actually a little negative sign right there. But this parabola has one point of inflection. Well, let's see. Yeah, one point of inflection where it peaks out. Now, if you look at this curve, it only curves once, and it's only curving either down or up. Now, if we take a look at peak oil curves, let's just look for images. If you look at these peak oil curves, they certainly curve down, but they also curve up on the other side, right? So this has positive curvature, negative curvature, and then positive curvature again. A parabola only has positive or negative curvature. Now, if we go and look at a Gaussian, let's look at the Gaussian function first of all. So you'll see that these Gaussians, like the peak oil, have a negative curve, and they also have positive curves on the other side. And it's a little trickier to dig out the reason for that. But the reason, but you still have this x squared thing in there, but it's almost like you've got x to the fourth. You've got some function to the fourth power, and it's that fourth power that gives you 3 inflection points. And I'm just going to pull up a little PowerPoint here. So if you'll notice, if you just have something like this, insert shapes, line, insert text box. This is basically just y equals mx plus b. You'll notice that that line has no inflection points at all. It's a first order equation. So if you go here, new blank slide, insert shapes. Let's just make it. There must be some kind of yeah. There's a little curve. We'll just sort of pretend this is a parabola. We can sort of make it sort of parabolic. Stretch it out a little bit here. Not very symmetric. We can make it symmetric too. There we go. Page up. So if we pop this guy in, italics. There we go. Italics. Make this a little bit bigger. Ding, 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 ding. Copy, page down, paste. This is something like this, squared. There's the negative sign showing that it's bending down. This is a second order equation, and it just has one inflection point. So first order, no inflection points. Second order, one inflection points. Then going back to the Gaussian, this is a fourth order equation because it's e to the negative x squared. It's a little bit like x to the fourth. And as soon as you get to the fourth power, you can have 3 inflection points. There's always one fewer inflection points than the order of the equation. So I won't put those up into PowerPoint, but you can see that the Gaussian allows for this to curve up. Now, theory aside, what's the cause of the 3 different inflection points? Like, why isn't it just a parabola?
So an inflection point is a place where the graph shifts direction?
Yeah. Where the slope changes. So let's look at the images again. Let's look at. So what's the reason for this thing curving up?
Technology.
Yeah, technology improves. Like the first guy, Jed Clampett goes and shoots the ground. Oil starts popping up, but then the technologies increase and get more and more advanced. And then what's the reason for the curving down after it started curving up?
Combination of consumption and lack, depleting of reserves.
Yeah, that's all it is. So you've got consumption increases as technology goes up, depletion, and then finally you get out here. Here's a shot, and then now that it's curving back up again, it's kind of a combination of all three. You still have consumption, obviously, and you have technology trying to keep up, but it just can't keep up as quickly. And then economics start to come into play at the end. You're like, okay, so there's a few people that can afford what little is left. So, is that clear?
It's clear, but I didn't even know what Gaussian was.
Yeah, I missed that one too. I didn't know Gaussian either.
Yeah.
That's gotta be a parabola.
Yeah.
I think it might be in the book or the video, it mentions the word Gaussian.
Yeah, I didn't make it up. Okay.
It doesn't say anything about any kind of curve, does it?
I would search it, but
Well, see, I'm looking at I'm just looking at figure 1.3,
The graph, yeah.
the graph. It says this graph plots the actual output, historical rate. It doesn't say Gaussian in the book that I can see. It's just something you'd have to find. You'd have to research a little bit.
I still think it could be parabolic.
It could be, but like I said, a parabola and further on. What's going on here? Oh, I think you just what happened there? Close tabs. Oh my gosh, Moodle is now acting even weirder. I'm in Moodle. I'm trying to change this grade because this answer because it's correct. Make comment. And now I'm going to YouTube. Maybe it's just this. Oh, weird. Okay. So that's correct. 39 billion. Obviously you found that.
The other one's correct too, because there's two different answers.
Fossil fuel. Oh, according to the introduction of Chapter 1, what era are we currently in? What? Tell me, you saw fossil fuel somewhere?
First line,
Oh, yeah.
the fossil fuel era.
Oh, Chapter 1.
But then you go down and you got
Ah,
the
yeah.
Anthropocene era, which is
Oh, yeah.
quoting somewhere, and it says,
Yeah.
according to the introduction, and I thought that since it was in the quotes.
No, I'll totally give you that. I didn't see that. I'll give you that one. No problem there. It's like you guys listen to the Will Shortz on the NPR sometimes, and somebody comes up with a second answer that's even better than his.
Well, I thought you were trying to do one of your little tricky things.
No, I don't have any tricky things.
What?
What?
Who gave me that? I was born yesterday, but was it yesterday?
I'm not a tricky things professor. But my poor wife, man, she was taking this online business course,
Yeah.
and she bumped into one of the instructors who was going out and like grading exams on her smartphone in between swim races at some swim meet, right? So that's the reality of online education. And realizing the only reason she got a C instead of an A on her exam, on her final grade, is because she wasn't doing every little discussion board thing. And I mean, she crushed her final project, you know, in my book, that's what counts, not, I mean, I'll go and make sure that at least you logged on, but I'm not gonna read every single time you did a discussion board. It's really there for like peer-to-peer learning, in my opinion, so, anyway, I'm not gonna be a turd like that. Okay, according to,
Facebook?
what's that?
Will you do that, Facebook?
No, I don't do Facebook. No, just Moodle.
Okay, so this next, number 6.
Number
right?
6? That's it. What was the
Yeah.
total for U.S. subsidies to the oil and gas industry? Give your answer in billions.
Go back up.
Where? Did I ask the same question twice?
I think so.
Yes.
Oh, I did, didn't I?
That was a tricky one.
Yeah.
So you thought we were being tricked?
Took me 3 hours.
Oh.
No, I'm joking. I kept going back and forth, I'm like.
No, that's correct. It's the same question. Yeah,
question.
I don't know how that happened. It's correct. Way to go. All right, broccoli.
Okay.
All right, what's this one? Which of the following was not listed as a way to avert rising import dependence? This one I just grabbed right off of page 5, the nature of U.S. petroleum. And so the last sentence there in the first paragraph, it says, this leaves only 3 ways for a market economy to avert rising import dependence. So I just quoted those last 4. And the 3 that are listed are protectionism. So this says taxing foreign oil or subsidizing domestic oil.
Oh, I don't know.
Trade, and trade says simply buys oil, I like this, unsentimentally from the lowest bidder. I'm not even really sure how that averts rising import dependence. Do you guys? I mean,
The trade one?
yeah. It says when a resource is vulnerable or unreliable, trade makes everyone share shortages and price spikes as well as surpluses. Trade also creates dependent relationships and imposes political and diplomatic restraints that a superpower may find onerous. Must play fairly. I don't see how it makes us less reliable on
Import?
imports, because I think it makes us equally reliable on imports.
I think it makes our imports even less reliable, because if they're doing a free market with the rest of the world, that means it's us against them.
Yeah.
When we're trying to be like all this capitalist country, help, we'll give you some help, and then it's like, no, we should get our money back from France in World War II.
Yeah, and then substitution was given. I think that's probably how you just misread it. You probably just misread the not part.
No, substitution and subsistence is out of misread.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That's a GRE question.
Really? So I'm now qualified to write GRE exams? It's good to know. I just threw subsistence in there, meaning that you just subsist on what you have and give up the good stuff. Okay, what percentage of oil comes from unfree nations? 67%. You nailed that one. That was right out of the book. How much capital gets exported every time we buy a car? 15 grand.
Okay, now the next one was, so I had to go past chapter 3. That was check.
Oh, there's a typo too.
It's BTUs.
Yeah, I don't know why I have BT, I just left the U out of BTUs.
We knew what you meant.
Thanks. How many BTUs are in a quad? And that one, I got right off of figure 1-4. So 1-4, it says, measured in the US in quads, and a quadrillion is 1,000,000 billion British thermal units. So 1,000,000 is 10 to the 6th, a billion is 10 to the 9th. So you multiply those together and you get 10 to the 15th. So I put that as numeric. Is that clear enough?
Yeah, it's clear, but one thing I was thrown off by, if you look on page 79,
Page 79, sure. 74, 75, 6, 7, yeah.
okay, if you look at KTDU, which is,
Yeah, 1,000 BTUs.
okay, you look down and in 2010, the entire US used 98 quadrillion
BTUs.
or quads.
Yep. Yeah, and right after, when it says quadrillion, so a quadrillion is 10 to the 15th. And that's where it comes from, because billions 10 to the 9th, trillions 10 to the 12th, quadrillion is 10 to the 15th. It's very unintuitive that a quad equals something to the 15th, but there it is.
I read this like it's 98 quadrillion BTU or quads. That's an and or thing. It seems
Yeah,
it
that's
seemed
right.
to me like they were the same.
Oh, that a BTU is a
If
quad?
there's 98 quadrillion BTU, it would mean that with the or in there, it's 98 quadrillion quads. It's the same, it was the same number.
Oh, that a BTU is a quad?
Yeah, it was equal to a quad. And nowhere else in the book.
Oh.
did I find it.
Well, I guess, reading that thing here, let me look at that with you a little bit. I can understand the confusion. The way it's written, it says, I'll just write it out. In 2010, the entire U.S. used 98 quadrillion. Then it says 10 to the 15th. BTU or quads of primary. So,
I take it that one quad is one BTU in that.
yeah. Well, here's what's kind of missing from it. See what I just did? I think probably, Gary, copy.
Did you get that on page 5?
No, I'm just reading from page
No,
79 where you just
the
showed
one
me.
that you were-
Yeah, I just typed this right out of, and so, the second one is let me just swap these. So in this particular case, you were reading this sentence like this, BTU This is the way you're reading it, right? I mean, this is how it's written in the book. I just typed it verbatim. And then this is the way you interpreted it, right? BTU equals quads. That's what you just told me.
If what does one quad equal again?
Well, it equals 10 to the 15th BTUs. And so what I'm
Well,
just,
shouldn't that be quad then, or quad? If it equals 10 to the 15th, it should be quad and not quads, because quads is plural there. that would be 10 to the 30 BTU quads, at least, technically, because it's plural.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
It gives it more than one substance, it gives it more. See what I mean? There's at least two there. If it would have said or quad, then that would have been easy.
Yeah, the way it should have read, I mean, I don't know why I don't put BTUs on here. Well, you know, here's the deal with that. Because you wouldn't write, like, let's just look at a different example. Let's just,
Well, that's why I was trying to look at your example so I could differentiate.
yeah, yeah.
Because the only way I even found it was to look in the index, and so I found the quads.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, it's a little bit of a digression, but I can certainly see how numeracy is an issue. And even going back to my 2008 paper, like, how the heck do you read this dang thing? But let's just say, because I think the confusion is coming in is that they didn't use a plural on BTUs. Because what it is, I mean, it is 10 to the 15th. I mean, what he's trying to show here with the parens, with the parentheses, is that a quadrillion is 10 to the 15th. That's what the parens were in there. And we probably should have said is 15 quadrillion BTUs, because it is plural. But here's the thing. He weighs, let's just say 200 lb, or he weighs 200 lbs. Like, which one is correct? Or are they both correct? Because the same thing, you'd say he weighs 100, or was more like 1,000 newtons versus he weighs, hey, what's going on? Because you would never write it this way. You would never pluralize newtons like that. And I think that's probably, so I think probably what Lovins is doing here is actually correct, and you don't actually, I mean.
well, then why is he pluralizing the quads when it shouldn't, clearly the quads should be pluralized, because if it's 98 quadrillion quads.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
Yeah, no, I hear you. No, I hear you. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
Then there's the other way that he says it, billion, billion.
Million, billion, yeah.
Is the reason people
What's
do
that
that,
at?
it's underneath the figure 1.4?
Yeah.
It seems like people do that a lot. Is it just because there's not a better way to say it in words?
That's,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
1.4?
Figure 1.4 on page 10. Yeah, it's just another way of writing it, 1 quadrillion BTU. And then you can see that, 1,000,000 billion British thermal units instead of 1,000,000 billion British thermal unit. I think he's just chosen to get rid of the S on BTUs throughout the book. I think it's just the convention, in the same way you wouldn't put an S after the N for newtons. Because BTU, those three letters together are the unit, just like N is the unit for force for newtons. Well, anyway, I can't give you credit for that. How many BTUs are in a quad? Other than that, looks pretty good. This was not an easy one. How much money will be saved by 2050 through the reinventing of fire methods? Example of correctly formatted answer. I think that was the very last, $5 trillion. $5 trillion. All right, happy enough with the quiz review? It looks like Joe took it too, so. All right, I'm just gonna stop there. And look,
That's great.